God-level duplication system. Chapter 23. Final match. Soon, half an hour has passed. Zhang Ping jumped onto the arena and surveyed the audience. He said in a clear voice, "The third round of this competition is also the final match. The top 3 of ranking competition will now begin the competition. The first match, Zhang He vs Chen Yu." As soon as his voice faded, the crowd quieted down. Everyone's eyes were focused on the arena. Such an arrangement was obviously tacitly admitting that Lin Xuan was the first. Zhang He and Chen Yu were going to fight. The winner would compete with Lin Xuan to determine the winner. Regarding this, no one was surprised. After all, in the previous matches, the strength that Lin Xuan had displayed had already surpassed Zhang He and Chen Yu. Not long after, they went on to the arena. After Zhang Ping announced the start of the match, they started fighting. Zhang He wanted to win. He wanted to fight Lin Xuan and win the first place. He was going all out in this match. Chen Yu was going all out in order to get second place. However, they were originally the 4 great geniuses of Green Jade City. The difference in strength between them wasn't too obvious. Zhang He didn't want to reveal his trump card in advance. In a short period of time, their strength was actually indistinguishable. The battle was also very intense. The surrounding spectators watched attentively. However, in terms of degree of shock, it was still far from the battle where Lin Xuan defeated Wu Kaili in an instant. Unknowingly, more than 10 minutes passed. In the end, Zhang He still had the greater advantage. A few minutes passed. Zhang He used his full strength to knock Chen Yu down and won. He had temporarily advanced to second place. Zhang Ping announced, "Zhang He has won this match. We will rest for half an hour and continue with the next match." Zhang Ping's expression was still solemn. He didn't show any joy because of Zhang He's victory. It was normal for Zhang He to defeat Chen Yu, and it wasn't worth being happy about. If he could defeat Lin Xuan, he would be celebrating with excitement. However, it was so difficult for him to even fight Chen Yu. It was hard to imagine what would happen next when he fought Lin Xuan. Even though Zhang Ping was the supervisor of City Lord's mansion, he didn't think highly of Zhang He's situation in the next battle. Zhang He's eyes were full of fighting spirit. He glanced at Lin Xuan, then got off the stage and went back to the stands to rest and recover. Lin Xuan sneered at this. Not long after, another half an hour passed. Zhang Ping announced loudly, "The second match, Lin Xuan vs Zhang He." In an instant, the scene fell into dead silence. Everyone on the scene held their breaths, their eyes were fixed on Lin Xuan and Zhang He, full of anticipation. This might be the most intense battle of this year's competition. This was also the competition to determine the winner. They were naturally filled with anticipation. Under everyone's gaze, Lin Xuan and Zhang He stood up from the stands. In a short while, they all arrived at the arena and looked at each other. Zhang He's expression was solemn as he glanced at the 2 people and said, "The competition begins." He immediately retreated to the side, waiting for the upcoming battle. Lin Xuan's expression was indifferent, but he didn't attack directly. His gaze swept across Zhang He. Name, Zhang He. Cultivation, early enlightenment stage. Talent, top-grade cultivation talent, low-grade strength, substandard speed talent. Martial arts, mountain quake fist, top-grade rank 2, small completion. Boiling blood technique, top-grade rank 2, beginner level, incomplete. Treasure, none. Looking at Zhang He's attribute panel, Lin Xuan's eyes flashed and he chanted, "You have used 1000 energy points to duplicate it. You have obtained the boiling blood technique, top grade rank 2, beginner level, incomplete." Announcement of use. A weak warm current flowed through his body. A mocking smile flashed across Lin Xuan's eyes. So, this incomplete blood down martial arts is Zhang He's trump card. Lin Xuan thought to himself. However, his expression remained the same. He had already taken control of this boiling blood technique. He roughly knew that he could boil the vitality and exchange it for a short period of powerful strength. However, Lin Xuan remained unmoved. Many of his talents surpassed Zhang He's, and he also had many high-level martial arts. Even though Zhang He had activated this blood-down martial arts, and his strength had increased by leaps and bounds, Lin Xuan still did not put him in his eyes. He could use this point to obtain more energy points. Lin Xuan's expression became solemn. The grade of this Blood Dao martial arts had exceeded his expectations. Although it showed that this was a rank 2 martial art, he had spent 1,000 energy points. It could be seen that the power of this martial art should be comparable to a rank 3 martial art. It seemed that the power of the Blood Dao martial arts was far from what a martial art of the same level could compare with. Although this martial art could only be used for a short period of time, its power was still very strong. If he were to encounter it in the future, he would have to pay more attention to it. All of this happened in an instant, and no one noticed anything unusual. Opposite him, Zhang He's expression was solemn as he cupped his hands and said, "Lin Xuan, you are very strong. However, it is not that easy for you to defeat me." Zhang He did not seem to have the confidence to win, even if Zhang He had that trump card. Seeing this, Lin Xuan laughed in his heart. This Zhang He was really a good person. Zhang He had started to give him energy points now. Lin Xuan didn't plan to seriously injure him anymore. On the surface, Lin Xuan didn't show any expression. Then let's give it a try. Lin Xuan's expression was calm as he threw out a punch. Jade-shattering fist. Wherever this punch passed, the air would explode, and the force would be astonishing. Compared to the previous punch, this punch was even more powerful. His attack speed was extremely fast, and Zhang He had no way of dodging it. Zhang He also threw out a punch. Mountain Quake Fist. His punch was also extremely fierce. This was his strongest punch. He also wanted to see how big the gap between him and Lin Xuan was. Under the gazes of everyone present, the two fists collided. An explosive sound was heard. The shockwave spread out in all directions, causing ripples in the air. This time, Lin Xuan's body trembled, and he stood still on the spot. On the other side, Zhang He's expression changed slightly. He could feel a tremendous force surging towards him like a torrent. This was not a force that he could withstand. He couldn't help but retreat. He was forced to retreat a few dozen meters before he managed to stabilize himself. He almost fell off the stage. Zhang He stood at the edge of the arena. He was not considered to have lost. But when the crowd saw this, they were all shocked. The outcome of this match was already clear. Lin Xuan's strength was obviously much stronger than Zhang He's. This should be the result of Lin Xuan winning the first place. Everyone thought to themselves, Zhang He wasn't bad either. He was the only one who could withstand Lin Xuan's punch without losing. He was much stronger than the other disciples. Unfortunately, he had met Lin Xuan. He could only lose. On the arena, Lin Xuan looked at Zhang He, who was standing at the edge of the arena. He clenched his fist, and a satisfied look appeared in his eyes. "Your control over your strength is not bad.